Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines. US President Donald Trump has lashed out at critics of his tariff policies, calling them fools in a post on Truth Social. He claimed the tariffs have made the US the richest, most respected country in the world. He also announced a $2,000 dividend for every American, excluding high-income earners, money he says will come from tariff revenue. Meanwhile, President Trump has called Obamacare the worst healthcare for the highest price, urging Republicans to redirect funds from insurance companies to citizens. His remarks come as Congress remains deadlocked over healthcare subsidies tied to the ongoing government shutdown. Russia's defense ministry says its forces have captured the village of Rybna in Ukraine's Zaporizhia region, north of Huliai-Pole. However, Ukraine has not yet commented on the claim, but had earlier said it repelled multiple Russian assaults nearby. Security forces and displaced citizens voted in Iraq on the weekend, 2 days before the parliamentary elections, seen as a key test for Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani. Sudani seeks a second term and has pledged rebuilding Iraq, fighting corruption and maintaining balanced ties with Iran and the United States. Hundreds are missing after a migrant vessel sank near the Malaysia-Thailand border. Authorities say 10 people were rescued and 1 body recovered following the tragedy. The boat, which left Myanmar's Buthidaung with about 300 people on board, went down 3 days ago. Among the survivors were Rohingya and Bangladeshi nationals, while search operations continue off Langkawi. A massive weather alert has been issued in the Philippines as Super Typhoon Fungwang, locally named Uwan, intensified, prompting authorities to evacuate over 100,000 residents. The storm threatens central and eastern regions with heavy rainfall and strong winds, including Metro Manila and surrounding provinces. Super Typhoon Fungwang reached sustained winds of 185 kilometers per hour, with gusts up to 230 kilometers per hour on Sunday, with earliest landfall expected in Aurora Province, central Luzon, Sunday night. Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa has arrived in the United States for an official visit. As Washington seeks Damascus's support in its global coalition against ISIL, or ISIS, al-Sharaa arrived in Washington late Saturday, shortly after Syria announced a large-scale security operation targeting ISIL cells nationwide. The Syrian leader, whose rebel forces ousted Bashar al-Assad last year, is scheduled to meet US President Donald Trump at the White House on Monday. Al-Sharaa, removed from a US terrorist sanctions list on Friday, previously met Trump in Riyadh in May. Major air traffic control staffing shortages disrupted thousands of flights across the US on Saturday as the federal government shutdown entered its 39th day, officials said. The Federal Aviation Administration reported staffing issues affecting 42 airport towers and centers, delaying flights in at least 12 major cities, including Atlanta, Newark, San Francisco, Chicago, and New York. About 1,500 flights were cancelled and 6,000 delayed, compared with 1,025 cancellations and 7,000 delays. FAA mandated flight reductions, initially set at 4% at 40 major airports, will rise to 6% on Tuesday and 10% by November 14th due to controller shortages. Ground delay programs at 9 airports, including Atlanta, caused average delays of 282 minutes. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Sunday he is ready to meet U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, but reaffirmed that Moscow will not compromise on its core conditions to end the Ukraine war. Lavrov told state news agency RIA Novosti that both sides understand the need for regular communication and are prepared for face-to-face meetings when necessary. His remarks come as President Donald Trump's attempts to broker a peace deal have stalled following the cancellation of last month's planned Trump-Putin summit in Budapest. China has successfully launched a new group of experimental satellites into orbit. The Long March 11 rocket lifted off from waters near Haiyang in eastern Shandong province early Sunday. Officials say 3 Xi'an 32 test satellites were placed into their preset orbit for space technology experiments. The mission was conducted by the Taiyuan Satellite Launch Center and marked the 606th flight of the Long March rocket series. And the opening ceremony of China's 15th National Games was held in Guangzhou. The event marked the start of the country's biggest multi-sport competition, with athletes and performers showcasing a grand celebration of national unity. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samaa.tv. Thank you for watching Samaa News.